And welcome to Rotisserie Chicken. I'm joined with, as always, the beautiful, the lovely Anna Leckie.
And I'm with Jacob Worthington, the spontaneous, the glorious, the feisty, red-headed Jacob Worthington.
Woo! We've got a beautiful episode for you guys today. I decided that we would combine two of our interests. So Anna, big animal lover.
Big.
Jake,
only the big ones.
And
Screw those small guys.
And I constantly crave war. So what we decided to do is we're going to do an episode of the most decorated war animals. So we're going to go through a couple. I got a couple good ones prepared for us. Animals that had served in the military, in combat.
Is this going to be sad?
Only one is sad.
Okay.
Only one.
I just feel like it's going to be sad.
Only one is sad. So let's jump right in,
Okay.
So our first veteran up is known as Staff Sergeant Reckless.
Ooh.
So Reckless. Staff Sergeant Reckless. Reckless was a decorated war horse who held official rank in the United States military. She was a Mongolian horse breed. She was purchased October 1952 for $250.
Wow.
She was purchased in Korea, in Seoul, at a racetrack, which $250 back then would have been $3,000 US.
Wow. Which is actually still cheap for a horse.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they were
inflation.
Yeah, inflation. I have no idea how much a horse costs.
Don't get me started. They're a lot.
I'm sure they are. So Reckless was bought by the members of the United States Marine Corps and trained as a pack horse to deliver in a recoilless rifle platoon, an anti-tank company in the 5th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division.
Okay.
So the Marines taught Reckless battlefield survival skills, such as how to not get entangled in barbed wire and to lay down when under fire. She learned to run from bunker upon hearing the cry, incoming, and the platoon called it her hoof training or hoof camp.
Hoof camp.
She went through hoof camp, this one.
Wow. So she was just on her shit, basically.
Do you like finding representation in the females in the military?
Yeah, and I feel a kinship to her. Which, just to clarify, I myself am not in the military. No, look at the nails. I'm not in the military.
So she quickly became part of the unit and was allowed to roam freely through the camp, entering Marine tents whenever she wanted to on cold nights, and was known for her willingness to eat nearly anything, including scrambled eggs, beer, Coca-Cola, and she once apparently ate $30 worth of poker chips.
Now that's something I can relate to.
The Coca-Cola and beer.
Yeah. Just scarfing it down.
So she went on to serve in numerous combat actions during the Korean War, carrying supplies, ammunition, and was also used to evacuate wounded. Learning each supply route after a couple of trips, she would often travel and deliver supplies on her own. The highlight of her military service was in March 1953 at the Battle of Outpost Vegas. In a single day, she made 51 solo trips to resupply multiple frontline units. She was wounded in combat twice and was given the battle rank of corporal in 1953.
Okay. That's pretty intense.
She was eventually, in 1954, had a battle promotion to sergeant. And she became the first horse in the Marine Corps known to participate in amphibious landing, which means she went from the water to the ground in an attack.
So she got off of a boat?
Yeah.
And then
onto the land and then went into battle.
Swam.
I don't know. She might have swam, but I don't know if her little hoovies flippered. Literally. She literally was a beast. For her exemplary service to the Marine Corps, Reckless was awarded 2 Purple Hearts for the wounds receiving during the Battle of Vegas, a Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, which I don't know how you get that if you're eating poker chips and drinking beer on base, but I guess, she did what she did. A Presidential Unit Citation with Bronze Star, a National Defense Service Medal, a Korean Service Medal, the United Nations Korea Medal, a Navy Unit Commendation, and a Republic of Korea Presidential Unit Citation.
Okay.
Which she wore on a, she had like a horse blanket that would display all of her war medals.
Okay.
So she was officially promoted to Staff Sergeant in 1959.
Okay, 1959.
Do you know what rank a Staff Sergeant is?
No, but isn't it higher?
It's like middle, like lower enlisted. So the ranks are divided into officers and the enlisted, and then in the enlisted, she's about mid-rank.
Could she give orders?
If she spoke, yeah. She totally
could she be like...
She's a non-commissioned officer, so yeah.
she could like move her little snout in one direction, and that means to go over there.
I know in, you're going to yell at me for this, but I know in the Army, whenever you have like an animal or a pet, or an animal that's in the military with you, the person handling the pet is usually a lower rank than the pet itself.
Why would I yell at you about that?
No, I just scratched my temple when I was saying that, so I assumed you were going to be like, God, quit touching your face.
Terrible fact.
Quit touching your face. Well, the reason is to prevent abuse. So if you're outranked by your animal, if you hit your animal, you can be charged for like assaulting an officer.
I mean, I think that should land in anyone's relationship with their pet. I think any animal in the United States
you're
should
outranked.
Be an officer.
The boys outrank us.
Animals should outrank us.
Frito is a lieutenant colonel in the United States.
You see him?
He's lame. He's strewn. Reckless, she received, while serving in the Marine Corps, 2 Purple Hearts for being wounded in the Battle of Vegas.
Oh, I hate that she was wounded.
Well, it's part of combat.
I hate that.
It's part of combat. She received a Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal.
Oh.
Which I don't have a Marine Corps. I have an Army Good Conduct Medal. But basically, as long as you don't get caught doing anything dumb, you get one of these.
I'm kind of surprised you got one of those. Because from what I hear, you got caught doing dumb
I did. But you gotta be doing really dumb stuff.
Yeah.
She also received the Presidential Unit Citation with a Bronze Star, the National Defense Service Medal, a Korean Service Medal, a United Nations Korean Medal, a Navy United Commendation, and a Republic of Korean Presidential Unit Citation.
Oh.
She might be one of the most decorated war horses of all time.
So what happened to her after?
So after...
Do you think she had PTSD?
I'm sure she did.
Oh.
So after she retired to the United States, where she gave birth to 4 fowls.
Foals?
And foals.
Fowls are
birds. She gave birth to 4 foals.
That would be insane if she pooped out.
She gave birth to 4 baby horses.
That'd be insane if she pooped out a bunch of birds.
Anyway, and she passed away in 1968. She has since been honored at the Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton with a statue dedicated to her, and at the National Museum of the Marine Corps in Quantico.
R.I.P.
And in 2018, a bronze statue of Sergeant Reckless was placed and dedicated at the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington, Kentucky. So
you're not seeing me, but I'm saluting to Staff Sergeant Reckless right now.
Well, you don't salute NCOs, but okay. She'll respect
I do.
it.
We do here in this house.
In this house, we salute.
We salute
Staff Sergeants.
Yes.
And then they go, "What are you doing?"
No.
What are you doing?
Sergeant Reckless is a beast.
Do you want to go on a... Okay, so we got 2 more of the big stories. Do you want to go on a small side tangent first before we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's do a little venture.
Let's do a little side story.
Let's do a side quest.
All right. So this is Tirpitz.
Okay.
Tirpitz was the mascot for HMS Glasgow during the First World War.
Okay.
It was a pig who had been on a German cruiser, the Dresden, that sank in March 1915. And Tirpitz abandoned the ship and was found swimming along by the crew of the HMS Glasgow.
Oh, apparently pigs are good swimmers.
Yeah, well, sailors would get chickens and pigs tattooed to their feet because whenever a ship sank, they were the only things found floating and survived would be the chickens.
Tattooed to their feet?
Yeah, as a sign of good luck, so that if their ship sank, they would float. Just like the chickens and the pigs that would be found after a ship
My first thought was they're idiots, dude. Do they not know tattoos aren't real freaking chickens? They're like, this is going to be buoyant enough to keep me on the surface. But I see what you're saying. So it's a
good luck thing.
They got the superstitious. It's like having a rabbit's foot.
It's the superstitious. So Tirpitz was found by the British ship. The sailors jumped in and rescued the little piglet. And they made a fake Iron Cross, which is a German military honor, and gave it to the pig for going down with the ship. So basically, this is a German pig, but he swapped sides.
Yeah, I mean, he probably did the right thing,
So he served as the mascot until 1916 and retired at Whale Island Gunnery School near Portsmouth in the UK. Unfortunately, she was auctioned off for pork in 1919.
What? So even the valor doesn't save you.
No, not if you taste that good.
Well, I keep that in mind next time you see somebody that goes into military service.
They might sell you for meat.
They might. Okay? You are not exempt.
See, Reckless got to retire because she wasn't delicious, but Tirpitz was auctioned off to raise money for the British Red Cross, which, in her defense, she did fetch 1,700 British pounds, which is a lot back then.
Yeah.
Her head was mounted and given to the Imperial War Museum in London, where it remains to this day.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, I told you one story might be sad.
Could you imagine going into that war museum and there's just Staff Sergeant
Tirpitz.
Reckless's head, Tirpitz's head, everybody's head.
All right, next up. You ready for the next one?
Okay.
This is Sergeant Stubby.
Oh.
Sergeant Stubby also served in World War I and was the unofficial mascot of the 102nd Infantry and was assigned to the 26th Yankee Division during World War I and fought in France alongside the French.
All right, Stubby.
So, Stubby was believed to be a bull terrier or pit bull mix, which was found wandering the grounds of Yale University in July 1917.
Just trying to get a degree.
Just trying to learn. He's just fresh out the box. He's trying to, a lot of people who end up in the military were found just wandering around college campuses until somebody was like, hey, buddy.
He was trying to use his mind rather than his body.
Say, hey, buddy, you ever think about serving your country? They got him. They got
Stebbs.
Well, he was, he started hanging around the 102nd Infantry training when he was kind of adopted by Corporal James Robert Conroy.
Okay.
And Conroy trained him to do a bunch of different tricks and sit and actually give a little salute So when Conroy was shipped off to go fight during World War I, he took Stubby with him, stowed him away on the ship.
Yeah.
Upon being discovered by the commanding officer, Stubby apparently stood at attention and saluted the officer. Which is why he was allowed to stay.
That officer was like, I was pretty pissed there for
a second. I was pretty pissed there, but you got me, Stubby.
But I'm not going to lie, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Little puppy hand. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I can imagine it.
Stubby went on to serve in the 102nd Infantry Regiment in the trenches in France for 18 months.
Which that wasn't fun.
No. Maybe to a dog, he's like, we're just playing in the mud.
No, because it's loud.
It was cold, too. It was loud, cold, dangerous.
Their little ears are so sensitive.
He participated in 4 offensive and 17 battles.
Stubby wubs.
He entered combat February 5th, 1918 at Gemont-de-Damas, north of Soissons, and was under constant fire day and night for over a month.
Oh.
He in April 1918, during the raid of Chypre, Stubby was wounded by retreating Germans throwing hand grenades.
No, Stubby!
He was sent to the rear to kind of mend his wounds, where he did what he did in the front and boosted morale in the back.
How did he do that?
He was just, dude.
He's like, I'm down, guys, but we gotta keep facing this.
He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. They had us in the first half.
Oh, no.
When I served in Afghanistan, we had 2 dogs that traveled with us. One was named Trooper. She was a female dog that had a little crippled hand. She had a little crippled front paw. But she would literally follow us everywhere, climbing over like walls, climbing in things, over and we would go on mile-long patrols, and this little crippled dog would follow us the whole time. The other one...
It must have been nice to have that companionship.
It is. The other one was Bear. Bear looked like a bear. He was huge. And
what was he?
I have no idea. No, maybe. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. But he would sleep with me on patrols when it was cold, and I would just let him get into my little sleeping bag, and he would keep me warm. But the great thing about Bear was he hated Afghans. He did not like them at all.
He was super racist.
Well, in Afghanistan, dogs are only kept for 2 things: fighting and guarding, and they're not treated like pets. They're treated like work animals and like
mules.
Yeah, like mules. And wild dogs are usually run off and things are thrown at them because, in their defense, they can be quite dangerous. So he did not have a good upbringing with the Afghans. But when we were on patrol, he would always alert us to any Afghans coming up. So if we were patrolling and other soldiers would come up, he would be quiet and treat them like friends. But if he had Afghan locals were coming up behind us or coming up to checkpoints, he would bark and start flipping out way before they got there.
That's helpful.
He's a good boy.
So should he be decorated?
He should be decorated. He should at least be a private first class for all that.
Yeah.
So back to Stubby. Stubby was licking his wounds, quite literally.
Oh, baby.
But eventually he returned to the front line, to the trenches, because he lusted for battle.
Wow. So he just limped up to the front lines.
He was he got healed. In his first...
So this wasn't the same battle?
No.
I thought that he
went
licking his wounds, then went back to the front lines of the same battle.
No. He went back, recovered over some time, and then went back to the combat.
Okay.
Let me get a little sip of water.
I was thinking there for a second that Stubby might be a psychopath. He just gets blown up. I'm
sure all of these animals
returns.
Have severe PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
So Stubby, in his first year of battle, was also injured by mustard gas.
No, shucks.
After he recovered, he returned to the front with a specially designed dog gas mask to protect him. He also learned what mustard gas attacks smelt like, and because he was a dog, he could alert other soldiers long before the attack was had reached them.
Wow.
He would also locate wounded soldiers in no-man lands during gas attacks. And he could hear artillery coming in before humans and would start letting people know to take cover.
Wow.
He also captured a German spy and grabbed onto his clothes and wouldn't let him go, and alerted American soldiers that there was a German spy in the camp.
Do you think it was just the accent?
I have no idea. Why did he know he was a German?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think
he overheard a phone call and he's like, this month.
He heard them, he was like, "Ja, jawohl." And then he was just like, "This motherfucker's not one of us." That was my first F word in this episode, which we're 20 minutes in, which I feel like that's pretty good.
It's okay. We'll let that one.
That was a direct quote from Stubby, so this is historically accurate.
We're just reporting the news here.
Maybe he was just sketch feeling. You know, maybe.
Stubby knows. Dogs know.
Dogs know.
Dogs have I always trust animals if they know me and then someone comes around me and they're uneasy. I always trust that. They got some kind of sense.
So, for capturing the German spy, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. So eventually, a woman in France made him his own little military coat where he would pin his medals. He was later injured again in the chest and leg by a grenade.
Oh, God damn it.
He ultimately had 2 wound stripes. At the end of the war, Robert Conroy and Stubby returned home in 1918.
Wow. Stubby.
After returning home, he became a celebrity, and he would march and normally led many of the post-war parades in the United States.
This is when the drug use started.
He was like, "I can't handle all the fame."
This is when the brothels and the drug use and the alcoholism started.
So he eventually met President Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, and Warren G. Harding.
Oh, wow.
He appeared on several vaudeville stages, and he was awarded a lifetime membership at the American Legion and the YMCA.
Let that dog into the YMCA.
Let that dog
Get that dog into the steam room. Get him a towel. He deserves it.
So he was presented a gold medal from the Humane Education Society. He also, while Conroy attended Georgetown University Law, he became the mascot for Georgetown Hoya's team mascot.
He went to law school?
Well, I think Conroy went to law school, but I don't know, that'd be pretty impressive.
It's funny because wasn't he found at Yale?
Yeah.
And then he was like, now I can get back to my education. I can put this GI Bill to use. He goes to law school.
And often at halftimes during the football games, he would push a football around the field to everybody's amusement with his little nose. He would just get out there and they'd be like, "This is the halftime show. Show some respect to Staff Sergeant Stubby."
What do you make of it? Do you think he's a past life?
Either he's a past life or he's gonna be a human next time.
Anytime a animal has such personified actions, I always think of them. I wonder if they were reincarnated or something.
Very likely. So, Stubby died in his sleep.
No. Well,
March 1926. I mean, he lived to be like 17 or something.
Yeah.
After his death, he was preserved via taxidermy.
Okay.
Conroy,
head mounted on the wall next to Staff Sergeant Records and taxidermy. What's the other one?
I can't remember.
Kixter.
Trippity.
Tarpity.
No, he was actually donated to the Smithsonian.
Oh, he's there?
In 1956. And he is part of the collection of the Smithsonian National Museum of American History.
Is that in D.C.?
Yep. Currently on display.
I wonder if I've seen him.
In the Price of Freedom exhibit.
I probably have seen Stubby.
It looks like the Price of Freedom is one good boy.
Worth it?
A lot of good boys out there.
Worth it?
Mm-hmm.
As we drink.
Pour some out for the good boys lost in combat. So far, most of these guys have gotten to retire happy and at home, except for the pig. The pig got...
Yeah.
they were like, "You looking pretty good."
They couldn't contain their hunger long enough to not eat the pig. So.
Okay. I'm trying to remember how to say this one's name.
Wing it.
Okay, so this one is Wojtek.
Okay.
Wojtek was a Syrian bear that was adopted by World War II Polish soldiers while they were in, I believe, Iran. As a young cub, his mother was shot by hunters.
No.
And he was found wandering the mountains of Iran by like a young boy who eventually sold him to a group of Polish soldiers.
Okay.
So, He accompanied the bulk of the 2nd Polish Corps to Italy, serving in the 22nd Artillery Supply Company during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944.
Wow.
Wojtek would help transport ammunitions. He would carry them like a person.
That is scary. So, some fantasy shows where they show battle and there's a polar bear with weapons strapped on them, and that's always terrifying. If you're on the battlefield and a bear stepped to you with artillery, I mean, bears are scary just by themselves, but you strap machine guns on them, game over.
So apparently Syrian bears aren't particularly large, but they are big for us. You know what I mean? They're not big for bears. They're a small bear, but they're a giant person.
For sure. They probably still weigh more than a person.
So in spring of 1942, the newly formed Anders Army left the Soviet Union from Iran. Apparently there were a bunch of Polish soldiers who were being held as prisoners, but when Germany attacked Poland and it became clear that Poland was going to be on the side of the Allies, they were released. They formed a military, and on marching back to the front, they adopted this bear.
Aww.
He was named Wojtek. Initially, he had problems swallowing and was fed condensed milk from an old vodka bottle. He was subsequently given...
It's so Syrian.
It's so Polish. You know what I mean? They were like, put it in a vodka bottle. It's very like Soviet, Eastern Europe. He also was fed fruit, marmalade, honey, and syrup, and was rewarded with beer, which was his favorite drink.
This is what I'm saying.
He also later enjoyed smoking cigarettes as well as drinking coffee in the morning. Imagine being like a German soldier who's captured, and you're like being brought in a camp, and there's just a bear in a uniform smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer, and you're like, that's like the most Eastern European thing I've ever seen.
I have no idea how I'd feel, but I would question my place there, that's for sure.
He would spend cold nights sleeping with the soldiers, and he also enjoyed wrestling a lot of the soldiers, and was once again taught to salute, to greet other soldiers as they walked by.
Oh, I like his spirit.
He became an attraction for soldiers and civilians alike, and became the unofficial mascot for the unit. The 22nd Company, he moved to Iraq, and then Syria, then Palestine, and Egypt.
Wow.
He copied the soldiers, drinking beer, smoking, and even marching alongside on his hind legs. Wojtek started mimicking them as they carried things. And so he would start carrying ammunition like the other soldiers, but it was said that he could carry 4 times the amount. So he would carry these gigantic crates that usually took like 4 dudes.
Wow. Well, I'm sure he was so strong.
So he was, with the 2nd Polish Corps, assigned to fight with the British 8th Army in the Italian campaign. Regulations for the British transport ship, which was to carry them, forbade mascot or pet animals. To get around this restriction, Wojtek was officially drafted in the Polish army as a private and enlisted among the soldiers in the 22nd Artillery Company. So they were like, we can't bring pets. And they were like, all right, he's signed up. He's in.
He's enlisted, my boy.
You're in, Wojtek. You did it.
He's just off to the side smoking a cigarette, just ashing it down on the sidewalk.
As an enlisted soldier, he owned his own paybook, rank, and serial number, and would live in the tents. During the Battle of Monte Cassino, like I said, he helped carry convoy ammunition by carrying 100-pound crates, 25-pound artillery shells, never dropping any of them. While this story has generated debate over its accuracy, at least one account exists of a British soldier recalling seeing a bear carrying crates of ammunition. Like, that would be like out of a fever dream.
If I were the opposition, that would get my EBs a GB.
Yeah. I feel like if I was like a British soldier and I was just like walking, it's like you're reporting with the Polish unit, and you just see like a bear walk by you carrying a crate of ammunition, you were like, what?
Also, I want to make a really pertinent point to this. Let's just assume that Wojak, how do you say it? Wojak. Let's just assume he's addicted to cigarettes. When you're...
He's definitely addicted.
When you're out on the battlefield, you don't have time to stock up on resources. He runs out of cigarettes and he starts nick fitting.
You got a nicking
on
bear
the
out
field,
there.
and you have a nick fitting bear just chasing you down because he cannot have. I mean, because his brain is just misfiring.
Just imagine being a German soldier or an Italian, I guess, because they fought in Italy, and you're in the like war hospital, and someone's like, "What happened to you?" And he's like, "Grenade." It's like, "What happened to you?" It's like, "I took a shrapnel to the arm." It's like, "What about you?" A bear dropped a crate of ammunition on me. I was attacked by a bear in a Polish uniform. I don't know if it was a Polish man who looked like a bear or a bear serving in the Polish army.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
So it said the bear mimicked the soldiers when he saw them lifting crates and copied them. He would, like I said, Wojak carried boxes that normally required 4 men, which would stack onto the truck with other ammunition boxes. He served in Monte Cassino, earned him a promotion of the rank of corporal in recognition of his service. So, post-war, after the end of World War II, Wojak accompanied his unit to Berwickshire, Scotland. Post-war, he accompanied the rest of the Polish unit to Scotland and became like an attraction to like a lot of the civilians and all the other soldiers. And he eventually retired and became a bear at the Edinburgh Zoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he went into a zoo.
Yes, he retired.
You think that the zoo would let him out to go to a bar every once in a while?
I don't know if they were letting him drink and smoke, which kind of sucks. Because that was like his thing. I guess he died at the age of 21 in 1963.
Sounds old for a bear. I don't know that.
20 to 25 is the average age for that kind of bear.
So he was pretty average, I guess.
And he was 1,100 pounds and 5'11".
Same.
That's about
I relate to that a lot.
That's about how big I am.
Yeah.
That's how big I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get Wojak big.
Wow. He's a cool dude. I want to meet a bear like that. I want to meet a bear that I'm guaranteed it won't kill me, but that also guaranteed it will let me pet.
They're out there. You see those weird Russian videos where people are just like, they just have a bear.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's usually a grizzly bear or something.
It's usually like a big old brown bear. I almost said the F word, but I stopped. So
proud of you.
We're doing pretty good. I will say, like, if you see like an American who owns a bear, they always have like almost like a semi-preserve in their backyard with like a fence. And then you'll see these Russian videos where it's like a bear riding a lawnmower. It's just like, I'll put him to work. He cuts the grass around here.
A bear sitting in the middle seat of a white man.
It'll just be at you'll be walking at a crosswalk in like Moscow and there's just like a bear in a car. And it was like, why do you always take the most embarrassing parts of my episodes and put them at the front? I was like, because they're the most endearing.
Well, last week you just made the whole intro to the episode my clicking sounds
and going, weird and like mumbling over your words. I will say my coworker who listens, shout out to Sam.
Hey, Sam. Our second listener.
She thought it was funny. So
good. Thank you, Sam.
So, all right, y'all. What do you think about these? Who was your favorite?
Stubby is Stubby. I mean, everybody loves
Stubby's pretty good.
Everybody loves a good dog. Stubby's probably up there. I'm partial to horses. Mm-hmm. So Sergeant Reckless, I grew up with horses. And so Sergeant Reckless was our girl.
Yeah.
And she just seemed super cool.
I think Sergeant Reckless I like because I like to see women in powerful positions.
Me too.
But I think Stubby the thing is, Reckless and Wovek, they served in they were supply guys. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to give it up to frontline soldiers with Stubby out there capturing spies and, in gas attacks. Like, come on. He got wounded by 2 grenades.
Right.
Sneeze break.
Right. I don't know. Who's your fave? You like...
I think Stubby. I'm always going to go with guys who are out there in tactical teams on the spearhead.
I like Stubby. I think Stubby would be intense to then bring home after war, though.
You think? I think... Hold on. We've got pictures.
I just feel like if I took a day to hang out on the couch, Stubby would look at me like, get up. What do you do when you lazy POS?
What do you think about...
We got stuff to do. Is that Stubby?
There's his taxidermy.
Oh, that's bad.
He's giving a little salute. He's giving a little salute. Stubby was a cute boy.
Stubby was small.
His name's Stubby, so I thought he was a great name.
I see how you deduce that.
I also think that if Stubby had been bigger, he would have been a bigger target. You know what I mean? Being a little American pit bull.
You know what this reminds me of?
Huh?
You and I like watching the videos of police dogs, of German Shepherds, helicopter footage of the German Shepherds running and chasing down criminals. So the footage will be a bird's eye view, and then there's a criminal going maybe 6 miles per hour running, and then a German Shepherd gets released and just books it
takes them
30
down.
miles per hour, just zeroes in and it.
Well, there are a lot of dogs in the military. They parachute in.
Yeah.
They attach to their handler, and they will jump. There are airborne dogs in the United States Army right now.
I'll never forget that Shane Gillis joke.
Shane Gillis. Shout out to Sahan Gillis.
I'll never forget that Shane Gillis joke of when they got... Who was it they killed?
Baghdadi.
Yeah, Baghdadi. Well, where... The soldiers show. You tell the joke.
I'm gonna cut that and put it at the front. No, the Shane Gillis has the bit about how when Trump killed Baghdadi, that they blew up his wall and assaulted the building with dogs and robots, and the dogs are wearing tactical goggles, and Trump was talking about he cried like a dog. And then Shane's like, yeah, if my wall exploded and it was flooded with robots and dogs that came to kill me, I would be pretty sad too.
Yeah, I will never forget that.
This is Sergeant Reckless.
Wow, Sergeant Reckless is a beautiful bitch.
She is a beautiful bitch.
Can we say that?
I don't know. We're trying to get more PG so we can hit a larger target audience.
We are. Forgive us thus far.
And then here's Voyek.
Wow.
Voyek
looks like a bear to me.
Looks like a bear. He looks like a bear.
Looks like a bear to me. If I would have... Oh, man.
This is a statue of him holding an artillery round.
Yeah, but a huge one.
And he's smiling. He's like, send this to the Germans. Dude, that's cool.
That's a cool bear.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
He clearly struggled with a couple of things.
This is a statue of him wearing a little uniform.
Wow.
Dang.
Respect. What's your take on using animals within war?
I'm all for it, dude. Earn your keep, dude. I think more animals. This is why I love cats. Big cat guy. We got 2 of them. They're the best. Couple. But I'm going to just say dogs are better than cats, just strictly based off the fact that there are dogs right now.
I don't know if I would put one over the other. I think they serve different purposes.
Way to interrupt me.
Just saying.
Way to interrupt me.
I'm sorry.
But there are so many dogs right now pulling down a paycheck. You know what I mean? It was talking about how these animals had serial numbers and they were getting paychecks. Not a lot of cats.
So it's about how much they contribute to the economy.
Yeah.
That would be what you're interested in.
We are Americans, and that's all we care about. It's the numbers.
Yeah, I think they're very different. I think they serve very different purposes. But I could agree with that.
Yeah, I just don't think you can parachute with a cat like you can with a dog.
Probably not.
Yeah. I love our boys.
But actually, has anybody ever used a big cat in war?
I don't know. That sounds
modern war.
Scary. Maybe
modern
not
warfare.
Modern war. Maybe not modern war.
Can you imagine if you were on a battlefield and your enemies show up and there's just 20 lions with them? That would be so scary, right?
I'm Googling if there were any tigers that served in the military. Oh, those were tanks.
I think, because I could see a big cat being trained to defend.
So it says that some were used, just regular cats were used. Well, big cats like lions, cats have not served in the military.
Lions and tigers.
Yeah. Regular cats have served as rodent control often, and the ability to detect bombs. Help sailors detect aircrafts. I guess cats get spooked when aircrafts were flying over. So and I do know I'm sorry I didn't put a cat on here, but there is a cat that I do know was very much like our pig friend, who survived the sinking of a German ship and then went on to serve on a British ship, which I think also sank. So maybe it was a black cat too. So maybe we shouldn't have black cats on ships. But
well, this cat named Simon won a Dickin medal, which is the highest.
Simon, guy was a lot in the sack, am I right? I think I should win a Dickin medal sometime.
Let's take a moment of silence for that. I want to. Where do I?
Simon.
Let's hear about Simon. So that's the highest honor for animal military gallantry.
I think this might be the cat. Yeah, Simon served on a ship HMS Amethyst. I'm pretty sure Simon was wounded. Also, he was not expected to survive, but he did. Dang, he's a tough boy. Simon died of viral infection in quarantine in 1949.
Oh, man.
So post-war. So he survived World War II.
What did he get? Tuberculosis?
So he did. The Dickin Medal is apparently the equivalent of the Victoria Cross. So it's for his bravery and service.
All right. Are you sad you never got the Dickin Medal?
There's still time. There's still time.
Oh, we're gonna have to cut that out.
We're not cutting nothing. All right, y'all. This has been Rotisserie Chicken. Oh, he's dippy.